Now come to second part. Here I use React router for navigation. Navigate to profile, home, dashboard component. So first I install npm install React router DOM. Then for unique ID I will use custom and then through npm and then start. After installing React, I used two things for routing. I used React router, and for ID I used UUID4. So both of them can install through npm, and then after start your project. To navigation, first wrap your app component with browser route. Due to this, you can use routes and router and link also. Now in app.js component, I use different routes for different component. Like for login, I will use root URL. Simply if you type localhost, then your port number, then it's open your login component. I use self-closing tag for routes. Then second for register, third one for dashboard, then user profile and user home. I will also prevent URL if the user is not login. So it's like a secure your route. After saving that, and this is your root URL, you're going to login, then dashboard, and for user profile and so on. Now it's time to design profile section. Now for navigation, first I will use link, and for navigate use to attribute, then your URL. For dashboard, similarly use from the above. Change in home component also. Use link, and for navigation use to, which URL you want to divert or go. Then link for dashboard. Similarly change here dashboard component. This is a simple CRUD operation by with the help of using social site UI. So you can familiar how to use a basic or a mid level as a React.js. For profile, for home, dashboard is not working because I think there is navigation missing. I also remove home from bottom. Oh, there is a anchor tag used. Oh, here use link also. After login, user can't. If user is log out, then user can't go to dashboard profile or home URL. I implement after, but before first I use link for navigate, register and login page. So I bottom of submit in login form. I need to give URL for registration, and similarly in registration I will need to give link for the login page. So link, then to and the URL, and URL is home. If you already registered, then click here. Now next next thing is I use message for error message. This is not compulsory, but this is a naming convention while using in React. If you use state, that first one is variable and second one is a function which is the return the value. So for sake of easy, you can use like camel case. And on click event, a data function for saving data. Here I use fetch API. After this, I will use Axios. I will use full CRUD operation using Axios, that how to put your post your data, then delete, put, and how to get. And here also I use uncontrolled component. Control component is like if you are using state. State give more hand on your form, and if you are using uncontrolled component, then it's work on direct on DOM, document object model. If you are using larger project, then you can use both of them from your choice. Now come on this. First I will check if these fields are empty, then I will give some error for setting this error. And second one, and if all the fields are valid, then I will put success. If you want to change this state that set error message, then you can here it define it's like a always giving some error in case of success also. So it's depend on you. And now set the data as object, like username, email, first name, last name. For password right, but then for first name, then hobby I want as an array, because I have, if a user has multiple hobbies, then they can put, so I use checkbox. And for mobile number, then languages I select from drop down. Then bio, I use text area. Age, some fields may be null, but for now I used all the things here, because if I want this project uh, something more, and I want to add something more, some more features, then I will add. So for now I will put some values null. For created at, write current date by using JS. In data variable, get email, username, password, as well as all other fields. For here I use React UID4, so you can call by simply UUID4, and then this is a function, so use bracket. And I use custom inbuilt UID. Here is a playlist of JavaScript where I generate how to use custom UID. So I use code from that. For custom UID, I will make another folder. I think this folder is in API. So first I move outside of the API and update all the imports. Now I make another folder in src, name helper, and inside helper make another JS file and put the code. First I will need, if you want arrow function or name, is depend on you. Both of them is good, is okay for this, but one function, which one you got export, they have a export variable before the function. Okay, now my function is ready for exporting. I will use this generate UID in register. Okay, and for here I simply call and function. This is the warning if you are using single or double one, so you can ignore, and if you not, then you can use how to remove this warning by single use or group them. And for display message I use state, which I define. Now error is giving me if the field is empty. Now for saving the data, I use try catch. Try catch is a best if you are in coding, then try to implement or try to code like in a good way. So always use try catch. If any exception occurred, then you can easily handle. First I will check if user is already registered with this mail ID or not. So I will send a get request by using fetch API, write a variable, then I using async await. So here is a await, then fetch. I call the base URL where I make a separate JS file for base URL. If you follow this method, then if your URL is changed, then you can easily find and change in a single place. Their whole project is the URL of whole project is also changed, so it's not affect others code. Why it give me this error? Async. Okay, first I write method be post, sorry, get. First I will check, then after save. And I will also send some header details, like this data is a JSON format. So content type is application / JSON. And after, if the response received, then convert to a JSON. And for now, I will simply log this data what I have get and check if data length have greater than 0, means they have some values. Then put some error that user is already registered with this mail ID. User already registered with this email. Otherwise, I will also check for password. No, password no. I will check, and then I think it's giving some error. Try catch. Why this giving error? Why I have facing this error? Registered method and with the function add with the function add. Okay. The problem is that I write this whole code outside of the function, so it didn't find as async. So here I write after data object. Now I can write await here also. And inspect. Yeah, it's working fine. Here I use password in place of text. Change the placeholder and enter your password. Now send another request. Use fetch your base URL, then users outside of the bracket. This is then call a function anonymous function that I use from above. In post method it send body also. So in body I will put data, but before that I convert this object as, so I use station.stringify and check if response okay means if data is saved, then status be success and message should be you are registered, user registration is successful. Whatever message you want, then you can use. And after that empty all the fields, username, email and password. So if you are working with the multiple forms, then you can write more of code here. If you are using controlled component, like use separate state for separate column for all column. And after success I want to console my response. Error using fetch. I think there is error for typo, means get or post. Here get, so you have changed post because you are sending data. You are sending body, and in get method body can't be sent. So using for post, then the data is saved. Okay, I will get, and if you check your users URL, then you get. Now for login, is there any message something? Okay, this is custom generated UI and this is the UID for generating React. Also used for error. And for navigation, after login, I want to redirect the user to a dashboard page. So login user, make another function. First I prevent reloading the form. Then here I also check username, right on click function, remove username because there is only email and password, and remove this, write your state. Your validation part is done. Now it's time for sending the request. So first I copy all the code and remove some of them. First I will paste. Then first thing is same because before saving I will check, before login I will check if the user email is right or not. This part is not come because it's a save. This code is for save method. Simply remove all the things here. I always forget to remove one braces. Base URL is not defined, so import it. and here check if user email is already present, means data have, means response have some data. Then I will set error for user. If get data dot length, here also length, and for login, if the data have value 0 or greater than 0, means email is already present. Means if you're searching data by using email, then you got some data, means user, sorry, here is I use less than 0, means if the email you write and don't find in data.jsn file, and you put error. And I will also check for password here. If email is present and password not match, that time I will also throw error, send show error to the user. And this time error is entered password is incorrect or is not matched. And after, simply navigate the user to the dashboard and set detail to the local storage. But you can't save simply because it's saved as a object. So first you can simply stringify, then save. Here I register another user. If you entered same email, then it shows me error. If you enter the right different one, then user saved in database or data.json file. Now I can log in. First I check memory of local storage. First change the password type. Now you can see your detail is saved as an object in local storage, and navigate to the dashboard. Now it's time for dashboard that show details of user. Show user details to the in dashboard component. First I use state for setting and getting the values of user, and I want as a array type because values user have multiple values. I write a function set user detail because I want when this data is saved in a state, when this component is load. So how you can achieve? By using use effect. This hooks help you to setting the data according to your choice. Means if your input field is changing, or your page is loaded, or if you're using some route or fetching data, then if the data is fetched, then effect, if you want to run your use effect. So use effect is, I think, more use hooks in React.js. Okay, here I also some ternary operator to prevent an error, some error which I don't want. To prevent this error, I will use some ternary operator. Now I use effect hook, then set the data. Okay, after saving this, give me error of use effect hook. Okay, you can't write use effect inside the function. So just you need to write out of the function, and here you define set details. Call the means first you initiate and you write the function and initiate in use effect. And if you consoling, here I use array because I want only load one time if this component is load. Now you can get the email. I use question mark and then dot. This is the short form of ternary operator. If the value is not null, uh, if the value is not null, then it give the values, otherwise it simply prevent them, because in React first time when the component is load it give a null value. To prevent this you can use question mark and dot operator. Now time for home. If you're using state, then if you have larger project and more component, then each of them you can write this logic. So prevent to if you want to prevent that you can't write all the logic in all the component, then you can simply use middleware. I explained the concept of middleware after the finishing the series, saving the data like fetch and axios. I will start the middleware, and then after I will use React Redux. They have also some different approaches. They use different approaches to share data globally to all the components. Now, here you can check my IDs come. So middleware is reduces the extra boilerplate which you write in every component like home and dashboard, getting the user details. Now I copy this for dashboard also. If I go to dashboard and then check the URL, here I get one. Here profile you can check in the URL that I have a one ID. And now I make logout functionality. And I want to write a single place and handle all the components. So I simply get this function by the use of prop. Prop is a simply if you pass some values from parent to child, then this phenomena is called props. Means I write a handle, click on logout button, and I pass from parent also. Parent for dashboard, home and profile, the parent is app. So here I can pass as a as a value, and in app component I write the handle logout function. So for login, for home, dashboard and profile, app is the parent and three of them is child, and here you pass the handle logout, and in child you get by props. Props is simply in a simple function. If you are using JavaScript, then you getting the values by a parameter. Here in React it's called a props. Now for profile I will pass id first because I want id from URL. So use call